Brilliant. So yeah, congratulations on the film so far. How's it been going around to different film festivals, including London Film Festival? What's been the reception like for yourself?
It's been very good. It's healthy sometimes to get away a little bit from working, and kind of see how it resonates in the world. It's even just healthy for me to just go into a cinema and just feel the individuals or audiences kind of just or just the vibration in the cinema, just reminding yourself you're actually working for this space, the cinema space. I think that's sometimes important for me because we live we don't have a cinema in our hometown, and we live quite far away from the city. So it's good for me to remind myself who we're making it for. That's good.
I mean, I think The Love That Remains is the film that should be seen on the big screen, with those beautiful visuals, and the score as well is beautiful. Because that was with Harry Hunt, right? Yeah, is that the first time they've done a score? How is it working with them sort of trying to incorporate the sound and the visuals with your film?
Yeah, it was for a long time. I didn't think there would be any music. I thought there would just be kind of music that they would be playing in the film, like the characters would be playing their own music, and that would sort of be the playlist of the film. But then when I was I was filming this film for a long time, kind of in fragments, and when I received the material, the dailies, the scanned material and developed material, I sometimes listened to music while watching it because it was without sound, and I remember listening a lot to this album called "Playing Piano for Dad" by H. Hunt and Harry Hunt, and I just there was something about the sound of it that just fitted the image. It was very strange, and it fitted like much more than all of the other music that I was listening to. So I just started to put on that album every time I got dailies, and then I just contacted him and asked, if he wanted to make music for the film, and so it was very kind of natural, and the collaboration with Harry was really good.
There's definitely a sense to this film that exists somewhere between real life and myth. We have that very grounded stuff, and we have some surrealism sort of throughout the film. Yeah. How do you navigate the space between the truth and invention?
That's a good question. I think it's very much just for me. I knew that the film felt very playful. Mm-hmm. And that it was very kind of open for being very expressive. But I also felt very strongly that if I was to go there, to be very expressive and go quite far, I knew that the ground or the fundament needed to be very strong. So like I needed the family to be very believable. I needed it to be real. So when we saw their faces and the characters, I wanted us to believe that this is a real family. Mm-hmm. And if we had that, we have a real world and a real family and real jobs, etc. I knew that we could like push the other thing as far as possible. So the kind of the magic realism or like the more crazy things would feel kind of coherent or they fitted into the world without the film breaking or without it being too silly,
Yeah, they feel like nightmares, some of the scenes, or
or impulses, or ideas, or thoughts.
What if I did do that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I kind of like this kind of feel of, sometimes you have these impulses or first thoughts, mm-hmm. And you would never act on them.
Yeah.
But if you did, everything would probably be quite crazy. Yeah. But I liked like that the film had those, mm-hmm. and we just acted on them. Yeah.
And I think that's sort of where you get to play with the creativity, lighting, your editing, cutting on a certain movement maybe. I think that's where I found it really sort of shone through personally.
And
they got good reactions. So.
Yeah, it's good, and I think it's like a film has a temperament, and I think you need to find it. and I think the film should have it in both the editing and the movement and everything. And I think even in the story or the narrative, and it should have a temperament. You know, I like that. So
Obviously the title itself suggests the love that remains, something left behind or something that endures. What do you feel is the thing that remains most strongly for you now that the film's finished? What have you sort of felt remains from it?
I don't know. I just have this feeling of like being really happy that we made it, because sometimes you have this feeling of that some things are just so fragile that you can't make them, that they'll kind of get ruined in the process. And I think often the case, I think the most beautiful things are like quite odd, and it's very easy to, in a process like making a film, it's very easy to kind of just kill that, you know. And I think I didn't want to kill that. I really wanted to make the film, but I remember when I told my producers, like, I think we should make this film right now. I mean, I had been working on it for a long time, but it was very. We almost made something else, and I think I think they understood how important it was to jump on this one and really try to make this one. And it was a close call. It almost wasn't made. So I'm really just happy that we made it, because I think if we wouldn't have made it now, I'm not sure if we would have made it.
So you found it along the way? Would you say, like, through the experiences, life, anything, you know, it just...
Yeah, it's like sometimes something feels right, you know, that you're at the right time to tell this story, or
the age of your children might be...
Also that. I think that's that. You know, I think I was seeing them grow so fast, and I had this very... which is a typical thing an artist does, you know, try to capture something that is kind of disappearing. And I think I was doing that kind of like capturing before they just flew away, like from the nest. Just, you know, like even now, like, we just had our premiere in Iceland, and like right after that, my daughter bought a car and moved away, you know, like 17. It's like crazy, you know, it just happened so fast.
Yeah. Was that her first time driving in that film when she's sort of driving her dad?
Well, I mean, basically she was just learning to drive like we do there in Iceland. So it was natural for us that she was driving, and she was learning to drive, and he was kind of the passenger. So
you've got that on film now, so you've always got
exactly,
it to go back to.
Which is great.
Yeah, amazing. I think more people should put their family in their films.
I think so. If the family likes to be on film, I think it's I think it's fine. And none of my kids want to be actors, so it's more like just play, you know.
I guess further on that theme a little bit, I personally got away from it. The sort of theme of taking things as well, be it from the earth, from people's relationships, and nature sort of fights back. But you're kind of, you know, paying this ode to it with the beautiful vegetables and land and stuff. How important was it to you? Was it like right now with environmental things going on and depicting Iceland? How important was it for you to have that kind of nature versus human almost in some ways?
Well, I think it's, you know, I do think a lot about like just using what's there, you know. If you live in a certain place, like what do you eat? You know, do you eat things from that area, or do you grow things from that earth, or do you fish from that sea, or like what is it actually? Why are you living there? You know, how do you spend your time there? How do you know, do you actually use your surroundings, or are you just using something that is exported? You know, sometimes it's interesting when you're making food that like each ingredient is from a different continent, which is crazy, you know. But which is fine. But yeah, I think I do think about like, you know, where do you spend your time? Like, and I mean, I had this strong feeling of like after we had been studying in Denmark for a couple of years and we had children and we made our first film there, that I had this strange feeling of going back to my roots. And I think it's some kind of, I think it's, you know, just being drawn to to a landscape that I know, that I find soothing and interesting, and I think it's natural to try to when you're living a place that you use it, then that it's part of your life. And I think I thought a lot about that. We have this saying in Iceland that like that you should go out and pick mushrooms and berries and stuff, because it's for free, and if you don't pick them, they just rot. So it is kind of like, it's almost like a burden for some people that like you have to go pick them right now, otherwise it's too late. But yeah, I always liked that kind of. Yeah.
Obviously, you've got another film coming out this year. What can you tell us about Joan of Arc, the project that you worked alongside making this film?
Yeah, I had these 2 years of filming the narrative of the kids playing, and they're building this figure. And I used that as like just time spending with the film and time writing and developing and preparing the principal shooting of The Love That Remains. So it was a 2-year process of just writing scenes for the kids, them playing them out, them being spontaneous and doing all kinds of crazy things. And the idea was that this narrative thread would be spread out over The Love That Remains. Mm-hmm. But then it just became so much fun. And after we finished shooting The Love That Remains, I just kept shooting this, for a year more. So it was like 3 years of shooting. And I thought this would be a beautiful short film. But then it just became longer and longer and longer. And then it's now like 62 minutes. And I just really love the film, and I think it's so funny and crazy. And I thought, like, let's just try and get it out in the world, and let's just work on it. And the producers and my editor and sound designer were up for it. So we just kept working after we finished the film.
They trust you. They trust your process. They're like,
yeah.
Just let them do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're like my right and left hand, so. Yeah. They're part of all of it.
Amazing. I'm excited to see
Joan of Arc. I'm looking forward to see it. Screen it.
Yes.
And see it again, actually. But it's a crazy little film, and I really enjoy watching it. And I really hope that it's kind of like I don't know what you call, like a side project to a film. Yeah. Like did you have a word for that?
Side project? I think that's kind of working parallel, kind of. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I don't know what to do with a 62-minute film, but we're gonna try to find a home for it. And
a really long short or a short feature.
Exactly. Yeah. Where is it gonna be? I don't know. Let's see how the world responds to it.
Amazing. That's all the questions I have for you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you.